Hey, here we go. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, 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 hey. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for coming. We're going to crank up our Village Voices conversation here in a second. Man, I hope that wherever you are, you're having an amazing, amazing, amazing Wednesday. Okay, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Is it working? Hmm. All right, so there she is. It worked. It worked.
It works.
Listen, don't you love it when a plan comes together?
I didn't
Don't you
want to
love it?
disappoint you.
No, listen, one thing about it, Jen, let me tell you something. I'm never worried about you. I'm never worried about you. One thing about you, I know you're gonna be on spot now. The way, I'm kind of, kind of get grampy with these tools. The tech doesn't always work out, but you get to click in, stuff gets frozen. How are things in your world?
Everything is wonderful, and I'm excited to be in conversation with you today.
Listen, I'm so excited that you're here. Everybody's in for such a treat. Gabby should be joining in here shortly. So for all of you all who are here, who are joining us, we are joined by my sister friend, Jennifer Hazley. How far do we go back? I'm scared to tell the people how far we go back.
I think we're certainly in double digits.
Certainly in double digits, certainly in double
Yeah. I
digits.
think
And
back to college or shortly thereafter.
yeah, yeah. And so we're just so excited and so grateful for this partnership that we forged, for your commitment and the commitment of the bump and the knot to supporting these causes. So tonight we're going to have a conversation about some of the cool stuff that we're doing together, about some of the
Mhm.
work that you're doing in your role with the bump, and about not only the work that you're doing with us, but I really think that it's important to understand the totality of the commitment that you guys have to social impact at large. So that's kind of where we are. So why don't we just jump into that, right? So
Let's do it.
let's just jump right into that, right? Just tell us just a little bit about who you are, besides being a dynamic entrepreneur, an author, right? All these things, a mom, just one of my personal sheroes, but um, in your professional capacity at this role in the bump, just kind of tell us about who you are, what you do, and what kind of drives you on a daily basis.
Absolutely. So, Charles, thank you again for having me and inviting me to join Village Voices. My name is Jen Hayes Lee, and I'm the head of marketing at The Bump, which is a one stop shop digital resource for new and expecting parents. We hope to be with you from your journey from the time that you were thinking about starting a family and trying to conceive up through the time your baby is, running around into toddler ages. And in my role at the Bump, I have the privilege to work with so many incredible partners like Charles and Gabby at 4Kira4Moms to help support the community. And so for this particular partnership that we forged, maybe back in 2021, 2022.
Yeah, yeah.
I can say that when I am part of the Not Worldwide, which is an incredibly dynamic company. We support weddings and life's biggest milestones, and of course, when folks are expanding their family. But I remember when I came over to the Bump brand, I asked my then CMO, I said, listen, if I go to the Bump, we got to talk about Black maternal health. And she said, without a doubt. And so I knew from day one that was going to be a mission and a pillar that our company supported. And so we've been in it. And Charles was literally my first phone call. I remember, Charles, do you remember when I called you and I was like, tell me everything. Tell me
Yeah,
everything I
I
need to know.
remember. You were like, tell me everything.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how can I help? And like, what can we do? And I was like, look. And I think that's one of the things that's just so cool about um our partnership in this relationship. It's always like, look, I've got this crazy idea. And it's like, yeah, that's crazy. I love it, right? And let's figure out how we can do it and just kind of scale impact. And so let's talk just a little bit about that. And I know that in your role as director of marketing, you have really found a way to really make social impact a priority. I know that it starts at the top, but you have really just been such an amazing steward of this brand, showing up in spaces, and particularly what I'm so proud of is the way that you all continue to show up in such magnificent ways for people of color or disenfranchised communities. So can you guys talk about that and some of the work that you're doing, not only with us, but some of the other organizations that you all support, like
Yeah.
some of our friends?
Absolutely. And so I have to say that what is to me so inspiring and empowering about the partnership that we've had, Charles, and just about
Yeah.
working in this space to be advocates for maternal health and reproductive justice is that I feel like we're all a part of this larger fraternal order
So true.
of Avengers, right? Who've
Right.
come together, and we're like old friends. You're working with maybe Elaine and her team at Birth Fund on one event. I'm working with her on another event. I see, Erin Coles last weekend at another
Right.
conference. Naturi Naughton, who's been a friend of the bump and is now using her platform in such powerful ways to speak
So
out, is
proud of
working
her.
with the Earth app. And I just feel like we are all in it. There is no ego. And it's like, how do we amplify each other by pooling our resources, figuring out how we want to shape these messages to get them to the people that need the most, which is the community, the folks who we need to make sure can go through this process with dignity, with care, and most importantly, with knowledge and information and resources.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head because I think that's one of the things that I'm so tremendously grateful for is this, like you said, it is very much like the Avengers, but it really is for me very much a second family, right? And it really it's probably a first family in a lot of ways. I spend more time with the people in this space than I do with my own family. And but it's just so amazing to see everybody has their own way that they are determined to make the world a little bit better in their own corner of the world. And you're so right. I think that the fact that there isn't pride of authorship, it's just really its impact. Like what can we do in the collective we um to make, and like I tell people all the time, my focus is putting ourselves out of business. Like I
Yeah.
don't want there for there to no longer to be a need for organizations that are focused on making sure that mothers are safe. And so to that point, Jen, I want to talk a little about because you really sit at a unique intersection because you are at the intersection of advertising, of corporate social responsibility. You get to talk to the families, you get to talk to the doers, you get to talk to the social activists, you get to talk to the politicians. And so, from your perspective, and being in, and I know that 2020, 2021, it doesn't feel like it's that long ago, but you've been in the trenches for a long time. Talk to me about some of the things that you've seen that make you hopeful, that make you excited, that you've seen in the space that really gets you excited.
Yeah, it's almost the things that I'm not a part of that make me even more
Mm,
excited because
okay.
I know the work, like, it continues on, it forges on, whether I'm a part of it or not.
Yeah.
The first kind of thing that's coming to mind that I just remember being so excited about, and I was, on social media, like loving it and reposting it, is when I saw the work that you had done in partnership with Bobby and several other influencers, and you guys were at the Capitol, and I know you were no stranger to being at the Capitol. And we
They're sick
thank
of me.
you for it,
They,
Charles. We
they
thank
hate.
you for it.
No, thank you. They hate to see me coming.
Yes, yes. But I just remember seeing that and just being like, yes, this is powerful. And I saw like new faces and new voices that were amplifying and scaling the message to their platform. And I was so, it just felt really good to see that. And to your point, I mean, the wonderful cross section of people that I get to work with at the Bump are, it's our talented editorial team who can help us sort of shape the narrative and tell the stories and reach out to the experts and the doulas and the OBGYNs who can help us, really have the fact-based information and the evidence-based information that can help inform our consumers. It's the consumers, the parents that are going through one of, what should be one of the most joyful times of their lives. And we want to preserve that joy. We want to make
Yes.
sure this is an experience that is a core memory that feels special and important and not, shrouded in fear. So when we're working with that audience, and then any time that we can bring in, the corporate partners that can sort of help us do more with, with our might and with our innovation and our ingenuity, like let's bring on the corporate partners who can help us like really, really get the message out. So I really do love being a part of it from this lens. And then also, the bump, we have the platform. We've got the millions of families coming to us. So it's
Yes.
part of our duty. It's part of our responsibility. And, I think what's really important is, what we partnered on mostly has been around Black maternal health, but we know that if we can help support our Black moms, we're supporting and advancing maternal health overall. So it's critical, it's non-negotiable, and it's been really a point of pride for me to sit in this role and be able to help do my part.
Yeah, Jen, and you mentioned something that I don't want to slip past this, and that was, as I was listening to you, I really feel strongly that what you all have done really has been a catalyst for corporate social responsibility. And I think that you and the bump putting their stamp on this and showing how you can get creative, because one of the things that we realized is that oftentimes people and companies want to make an impact, particularly if they're large companies, understanding how they can do it or what it looks like, but being able to model that,
Yeah,
I think really began to create that flywheel effect. And so I'm just so grateful for you all doing that and your willingness to be there. And honestly, your willingness to be unapologetic about saying the things, naming the
yeah,
thing, understanding the correlation between supporting and saving Black moms and saving all moms. And there isn't one without the other. And that by saving Black moms and a focus on Black moms, that it really makes our country a better, safer place for all moms. And so one of the things I think that's really cool, and we dropped a huge announcement during Black Maternal Health Week. There was a lot of stuff going on during Black Maternal Health Week, but I'm so incredibly grateful and excited about this new project that we've launched together, this
yes,
community impact registry.
yeah.
And I'm so excited about it, but Jen, I really want you to just share with the folks that are listening tonight what it is and what we hope to accomplish and why it's important, and then very importantly, how people can support it.
Absolutely. And while I am excited to give my sort of my best pitch in my sharing of it, you'll have to keep me honest on the actual URL because I do not have it ready. So
That's okay.
I'll
We'll
leave that
share
to
it.
you.
Don't worry
But
about it.
as I mentioned, I work for the Not Worldwide, which is literally it is the it's a global company that is all about celebrating love and life milestones. And of course, there are a few other experiences that are more exciting than expanding your family and being able to bring baby home. And so one of the really cool new things that we launched at the Bump this year is our owned baby registry. And so when I was just, basically putting two and two together, I was like, wait a minute. We are going down to this community block party with 4Kira4Moms, and we are celebrating literally with community. What a better thing to do than to put two and two together and launch a baby registry for the hundreds and probably thousands at this point families that you guys are supporting through your mission and through the work that you do every
Yeah,
day. And I was like, what, this is such an easy win. Let's get a list of the things that Charles and company need
yeah,
to support to give back to the community. And you're doing it with or without us. But I was like, let's create a destination where we can invite our community at the Bump, who are, they're mission focused, and they're also having this big milestone happen. So they get it. They get
yeah,
they get the diapers don't fall off of trees. They get that you have to refill that, refill the, whether it's the formula or whatever you need. Like, those things are not free. So let's create a place where we can say, hey, everybody, do what you can, pitch in where you can, and let's provide more goods and help support families en masse.
I
And it's
love
been
it.
a pleasure to launch this project. We're so
We're
excited about our community impact registry.
No, it's, and that's the thing. I'm so appreciative, and you grand slam knocked it out the park per usual.
Thank you.
For me, it's just so cool to see, and it's just amazing to have partners like you that are willing to lean in and meet these families at their point of need. Because the thing that we've learned, and as we work to support these families, is that every family is different. Their needs are different. But the thing that does not change is there's some core essential things that you have to have. And I think that, as you stated, the correlation between families that are fortunate but still going through it and they understand in a unique way. The community at the Bump understands and unfortunately probably overstands how critical some of these things are to just being able to move on and move in any direction and put one foot in front of the other on a daily basis. And so we're super grateful, super grateful. And, I always think back to a time before anybody was listening, right? And, you all were one of the first people that really believed in our mission and have just always supported us, and I think that another thing I'm just so grateful for is not only the way that y'all show up with resources, with ideas, y'all show up with the giant checks. I literally have one of your giant checks. Hold on. I got to show off real quick. Hold on. Hold on.
You
I
guys,
got you.
it's I'll as he goes to grab this check. I mean, it's Think Publishers Clearinghouse. Listen, I'm a child of the '90s, so I mean, we had to do it,
I'm
right?
saying, like, look at that. Look.
It doesn't
Jen
even
knows
fit in the
right away.
frame, Charles.
I know it's too big. It's too big to fit in the frame. It's too big to fit in the frame. But, um,
So fun.
and I'm grateful. But I also think too, Jen, is not only that you're such an amazing facilitator, and you're so unselfish with your resources, and you're always saying, "Hey, do you know this person? I want to connect you." And it doesn't necessarily even have to center the work that you're doing, and that's something I have to name that, as well while we're in this conversation. So I
Thank you.
think that. Um, and I know, and we've had these conversations that as a black mom, this hits close to home for you. The other question I have for you is, what is it that you would like to see in the next 18 months, 5 years, um, in not only maternal health care, but infant health care, like in this space? What is it that you would like to see?
Yeah. One of the things that's frankly one of the points of education that I needed, and part of the reason I made that first phone call to you is because I
Yeah,
really wanted to understand how legislation was coming, sort of stepping up to
sure.
support what we know is a named, documented, data driven need. And
Yeah,
so, in seeing Congressman Lauren Underwood just a couple weeks ago at your community block party, and thinking about Momnibus and some of the acts that have been written up, what I want to see is I want to know that those things are being advocated for and passing. And I
yeah,
think keeping up with the status of sort of what's gone through, what hasn't gone through, what new legislation
yeah.
needs to be revised, sort of resubmitted. I want to see those things pass because these are like nonpartisan. I don't know if it's
Nonpartisan.
nonpartisan or bipartisan, but
Both.
both. It's both. See, this is why this stuff, that part is confusing. But that's why I leave it to you. Go to the Capitol, get it straightened out, tell the people what we need to do, and I want to see that make it over the line because I know I've seen the proposals and they're powerful and they're necessary, and I
Yeah.
want to see those make it over the line.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. I think the other thing that's really cool too is that we're beginning to see the legislation um, is awesome. I think that we've made tremendous progress. I'm hopeful that we'll even be able to see some of the pieces of the Momnibus get passed before the end of the year. We've
Okay.
already had a couple of them. But what I also want to call out for people that are here is some of the states that are doing it. The federal package is amazing, but just last week, Virginia passed their own Momnibus. A couple of
Oh,
years ago, we passed the California Momnibus. So, the states are stepping up to say enough is enough. There's tremendous work going on. I think that almost in some shape or fashion, all 50 states have statewide maternal health legislation on the docket. And
okay.
so they are in these individual states creating maternal health caucuses, black maternal health caucuses, right? Infant and child health caucuses, dad caucuses, and centering these conversations in ways that they haven't done historically. And I think that as much as I'm determined to get all these acts passed, I'm really proud. I think more now than ever about the people who are in the community doing the work and not waiting on this stuff, right? And so that's my goal is, I need and I want there to be a time and a reality sooner than later where all of these amazing doulas and midwives and community health workers and lactation specialists who are doing the work, doing the most with the absolute least, have the
Absolutely.
resources to do it and do it on a high level. And so um, I think that for people who aren't familiar, and I've said this, no legislation is perfect, but I remember a time like there was literally nothing out there. And now to look up, and we've expanded postpartum Medicare to 47 states. It's a year postpartum. It was only 6 weeks back in 2020. And to have
Oh,
all these things moving, and I think that it's really easy for people to look around and see and think that they hear some of these cuts, they hear some of these stats. Um, but we are really, really making tremendous progress. And that can't be lost on anybody.
no,
Um,
Charles, can I say something to that? Because
Absolutely.
on the same token, like, yes, absolutely the legislation, like I said, but also when I was listening to you, it was also reminding me that it's the stuff that you can do on a small, like, hyper local level that is also
Yes.
incredibly powerful. And I can share just one recent example. I'm a part of this networking group of sort of professional and entrepreneurial women called Support Your Girlfriends.
Mm,
They do wonderfully curated programming. Shout out to Nakia McLean, who is like our president and CEO.
yeah.
One of the young women in the group, Vanessa, is happens to be remote. She's down in Jamaica, and she happened to
Wow.
sort of hear a story of a hospital in Jamaica that didn't have any receiving blankets for babies. Like, like the purple, the pink and blue and white,
Exactly.
those blankets. And she
Yeah.
literally dropped a note in the group chat and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get enough money or to get like 1,000 blankets or whatever her
Yeah.
target number was." And we said, "Say less." And we were
Say
right
less.
there, and we sent all those blankets down to her in Atlanta so that she could take them so they could be brought to her in Jamaica. And
I
it's like,
love
even
it.
that is like, do what you can. And I think that's kind of like the approach that I had when I called you that one day. I didn't want to be so immobilized by how big the problem is
Yes.
for me to do nothing. I was like, what can I do? Let me figure out what I can do. And I just feel like as long as we all sort of take that approach, that attitude, honestly, with anything that we're pursuing in life, like, it'll create momentum and movement.
And you're so right. And I think that also that approach is contagious because people feel that they don't have what it takes, or how do you know, like take on, slay the dragon and, you know, defeat the giant. But it really is the small acts, right? Being able to find your community, being able to find people that believe the way you believe, and just making an impact on a small level, because it really, we cannot ever discount or undersell just how important those type of movements that are, like I said, hyper local. It makes all the difference. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's interesting. That made me think about, and I'll give you an idea of just like, man, we just, I was looking back at some stuff that we were doing with the March of Dimes, and just talking. And this is sad. And this is disclaimer. This is not a condemnation on the March of Dimes, but we did a project with the March of Dimes 4 years ago called Project Blanket Change. And one of the things we did was we went out to the National Mall in DC, out in front of that, you can look down, you can see the Capitol and the Washington Monument. And they laid a blanket, one of those exact same blankets that you were talking about,
Mhm.
out for every single mother that had passed away from childbirth in the United States. But here's the thing, they had those blankets just to do a display,
Mhm.
right? For no other purpose than just to do the display, right? And those are something, here we take that for granted. Like, we
Yeah.
stuff the bag with
Yeah.
all the stuff. Like, give me that blankets, give me the extra diapers, give me that ointment,
I think,
right?
look, my youngest is 6. I think I just got rid of a few of those blankets.
Telling you, I know for a fact my boys are 11 and 10, and I have some in my linen closet, guaranteed, guaranteed. But it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And I want to pivot real quick, and I don't know if this is, if you're open to do this, or even this is a forum, but would you mind just telling us a little bit about your passion project and this amazing children's book that you've done?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Charles. Yeah,
And thank you so much for our copy too, because it's one of our prized possessions for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I'm a woman of many passions. And I think just by virtue of me working in this space of families, it really inspired me to, take a leap of faith and a bet on myself. And I wanted to write a children's book. And I have it right
Love it.
here. It's called The Golden Hoops. And it's really about my young heroine, Janie, who is having her very first rite of passage where she gets her first pair of gold hoops, which happen to be the
Yes.
thing that is just the symbol that kind of that embodies like my life, my idea of sort of purpose and passion and being able to literally jump through the hoops of life, getting past
Mm.
adversity and turning that adversity into opportunity. That's the metaphor that I think of when I think of hoops. And yeah, so I came out with my first children's book this year with HarperCollins, and it's been such a beautiful ride and another way to impact people. And literally
Yes.
the best messages that I get are, it can be a mom that lives 5 states away who takes a picture and shows me the book in her library, or tells me, or someone that tells me it's their kid's favorite bedtime story. And it's really cool to know that there's a little piece of Janie who is, all about inspiring
Love it.
hope and possibility, and passing that on to the young generation. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful project. Thank you for asking, Charles.
No, of course, man. No, I'm so proud, and I think it's so amazing,
Yeah.
um, just to have these stories and to be able to teach lessons and build this amazing foundation under our young people. And I think that your approach to that is so creative in the analogy that those hoops represent, not only the rites of passage, but what life will throw at you. Brilliant, brilliant, as if I would expect anything else. I love it. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Absolutely love
Charles.
it. This has been amazing. Jen, I'm just so grateful for you. Just thank you for taking the time. Thank you for
Always.
joining us. To your whole team at the bump. We're grateful. We are just really looking forward to continuing to do a bunch of really cool stuff together. And of course, anytime you need us, we are here. And yeah, I'm just grateful for you. And tell everybody in your house we said hello, for sure, for
Love you.
sure.
Do the same for me. I love
And
you.
will.
I love everything you're
Love you
doing.
to
And I
life.
just keep up the amazing work. We're so
Thank you
grateful
so
for all that
much.
you do.
Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Jen, thank you so much. Thank you to the bump. And we will see you next time around
All right.
for our Village Voices conversation. Everybody have an amazing Wednesday. All right. Peace and love, everybody. All right. Thank you, Jen. We love you.
Love you too. Bye.